October 18th, 1999 was a key date in another watershed for video games. The new millennium was drawing ever closer. Sega had released its Dreamcast, which would later be their final console, and with the PlayStation 2 being the year from release, consoles were about to enter the 128-bit era. You also saw many games released that would go on to become classics that define the consoles and the generation for years to come. Super Smash Bros., Final Fantasy VIII, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, Star Wars Racer, Sonic Adventure, and the subject of this video, Pokemon Yellow. I got the game alongside my first Game Boy Color from Funko Land back in the day, when 20 years later, it still has a special place in my heart. So, for 150 subscriber special, so just 25th anniversary of the series, here are the reasons why Pokemon Yellow is my favorite Game Boy game ever. To start off, let's address how, in a sense, this is a definitive edition of the original games. For sake of argument, I'm focusing on the versions released in North America, since the versions in Japan are matter for another day. Though Red and Blue definitely laid down the convention series that's still being followed and used and built upon today, there's still things that seemed odd even at the time. The balance definitely crazy. A lot of the sprites were unintentionally horrifying how off model they were, with the coughing and Gulpit being most infamous ones for me. This version incidentally provided many key changes that would be instrumental over later generations. We'll get into them over the other points in this video. It's also a key example of how content was added before and after game launch in those days. While now fixes and bonuses can be added in via patch and DLC, in the 90s, you had to make a whole new version if you want to put in more stuff. Heck, they're still making the revision Street Fighter 2, but let's continue for now. Yeah. Though at this point, the games and the anime are two distinct entities in a very large fictional universe, they do connect to each other in a way that many others have tried to pull off with similar organic ease, but few have succeeded at. In this case, the game is sort of retelling of the previous versions with many elements from the anime added back into a success. The partner Pikachu is definitely the most noticeable aspect of that. And as with introducing the walkie Pokemon aspect, that's been a recurring feature in later generations. Team Rocket also adds in Jesse and James recurring opponents, with the rosters even been accurate to the anime. These are just a few of the additions we added back from the show, which brings me to my next point. Yes. Though not coming to the United States until 1998, the games were originally released in Japan in 1996, the Game Boy definitely started to show its age by then. As such, depending on whether you own a Game Boy Color, or Red and Blue, or portrayed in black and white, or at most monochrome color, some games were even given deluxe editions with Game Boy Color, which were unique to that handheld. This game, however, made simple but effective improvements to graphical quality that were welcome and have become mainstay of the series ever since. Most of all, monster designs from Kensuke Mori's more accurate art, including less horrifying sprites for coughing Golbats, were worked in. Yet, better visuals is just one part of what's improved in this game. Yes. This builds on my previous points and expands on them, that this game has scenarios unique to this version that were not present in the original Red and Blue. On top of local minigames serving Pikachu, this version had not just usual exclusive monsters, but also exclusive ways of getting them. You want to get a Bulbasaur? Talk to Millennium at a Refuge. You want a Squirtle to train? Officer Jenny in Vermilion City has you covered. Even the envious demon gives you his Charmander willingly in this version, saying he's not capable of raising to its full potential. So multiple multiplayer modes that regrettably have yet to be recreated in later versions, even Let's Go on the Switch. Yet there's still two major reasons why this is my favorite Game Boy game ever. Yes. Even with the impact those two games had, there were admittedly gameplay refinements that needed to be made, and this also ties to what I said earlier. It only shows things working competitively can change in such a short time, But even the simplest ways, some of the early battles were just ridiculous. And the first battle of Brock in this game is actually from the original, as is your first battle of the rival. So, what could be my number one reason if this is just a runner up? Well, I'll tell you right now. The biggest reason this is my favorite Game Boy game ever is arguably the simplest, but the most important. Though I played other games before this one and many since, this was a title I can honestly say truly took me from merely liking video games to loving them for more than 20 years. The series has the biggest impact on me overall over the year's 25th anniversary. I mentioned before that while Mario may have been the series that started my appreciation for Nintendo and video games, Pokemon is the one that cemented it. For that, I had this game to thank. I'd also like to thank you all for 100 subscribers. There's still more to come. Take care.